So you always got to do the onion first. You put that in the pan first and let it cook for a good 5 minutes before you put the tomatoes in. Alrighty. If you're not doing what you love, life is significantly different in negative ways. And it's just going to be harder than putting in the effort. Though it may seem hard, of course, to put in the effort to do something you love, especially if you're trying to make a living off of it, but it's not something that's sustainable right now, you got to keep doing it. Sure, maybe find a day job to cover your rent and cover your food and what you need, but spend as much time as you can doing what you're passionate about. And if you really put in that work and that effort, it's going, like, the results will manifest themselves. It will. If you're not trying, you're not putting that energy into what you want, your passion, it's going to be much, much harder to do that. And regardless, you're doing hard things, because now rather than doing something hard that you're passionate about, you're going to work hard to do something you're not passionate about. And for what? Like, just do something you love. So every morning we take these out and put them away. And everything has its own place in each cubby. There's little prices on each lens or camera, and we match them up. So this one's $15.99. That goes right here. This is Rob.
Hi.
Rob is our color developer. And yeah, this is the machine he takes care of right here.
This is Nori.
So we just warm it up in the morning. We turn it on It's got these little temperatures to indicate how many degrees it's at, and it lets us know when it's warm enough for us to start testing and processing film. Sometimes we'll turn this on in the morning if there's enough E6 to run. So this is our E6 machine. We've got 2 black and white Jobo machines here and here. Those don't need warming up because we actually manually control the temperature when we're mixing chemistry. And then over here we've got 3 scanners, 2 of which we use mostly. These are Noritsu's. So these we turn on every morning too, get them warmed up. They take not nearly as long as the processors, but they take a good 10 or 15 minutes for the light source to warm up and be ready to scan the film. This is the Fuji Frontier. We just barely got this set up, haven't started using it much quite yet. Still figuring out some details on what we're going to do with that. But that's the morning process to get the lab booted up.
That makes one of us. I happen to like us.
How does that work?
And east. Yeah.
3 cents a pound. Okay. Okay, good to know. Well, thank you very much. Creativity is an incredibly therapeutic tool for me. Not just photography. I actually do some writing, and I also compose music, a lot of orchestral music. And just creativity helps me express a lot of feelings that I tend to jar up, or maybe I'm not very efficient expressing it in words. And when I can do it by expressing music on the piano or expressing a story that might be symbolic but still have the same feelings I'm feeling, it brings a peace of mind, it brings a satisfaction. It's just, again, very therapeutic overall of a result when I'm creating. So photography definitely helps me communicate stories or emotions that I've lived, and also create ones, just imaginary ones, that might communicate still emotions that are very real that other people can relate with. And I think that's magical, is when I have a photo up at an art show or at an exhibit and somebody says, I really feel this by looking at this photo. And I say that's exactly what I felt when I made it. And it's just magical to see that we can connect. We haven't even talked, I don't even know their name, and we're connecting on this emotional level. This is my exhibit. It starts over here. Sequence is intentional, so it goes left to right. And this is the first piece. It's the Holocaust memorial that they have there. And originally I had a different idea. This was shot on 100 T-Max film. I wanted to do a darkroom print where I had people walking this way, but then do a double exposure with the darkroom print and expose another picture which I exposed upside down, so that way it would look like people are walking upside down. But then I tried that out and I actually just liked this picture alone, how it was. I really liked it. So that's the first one here. And this is my favorite image of all of them. There was an indoor amusement park called the Utah Fun Dome when I was a kid. And I loved going there. That's where I learned to bowl. That's where I played my first arcade games. And this place shut down, I think in 2006 or 2007 after a shooting. Families got scared to go, and so it just went out of business. They shut it down. It stayed abandoned for a while. In 14, they decided to open up an international school here. And it's called the American International School of Utah. And when I heard about this, it blew my mind, because when the Utah Fun Dome had shut down, I would cry over that as a kid. I still had like the little coins that you use to activate the arcade games. And to think of it as like a potential place I could go back to and do my high school years at was very exciting to me. And it was an international school, so I was very excited about this. Went there for high school, had an incredible experience. lots of stories, lots of fun. So a lot of my memories are in this building as a child and as a teenager. And it shut down, and then I find out last spring that they're demolishing the building. And it made me very sad to see this building that housed so many of my memories and just being destroyed. So I decided to pay a visit amongst the rubble, and this is the exact spot I stood when I received my high school diploma. And this chair was actually like that when I walked into the debris. It was just this one chair alone amongst all this destruction. And so I included it in the picture, included this pile of rubble, and that's the photo. That's the cherry on top to the entire project of Liminal. Shortly before I decided on doing this project, Liminal, I had gone through a very intense near-death experience, and should be dead, escaped miraculously, and for a good 2 or 3 weeks after, I felt like what I describe as a living ghost. Everything I did, picking up a cup of water, opening a book, opening a door, every little thing I did, I would think, this cup shouldn't be picked up, this book shouldn't be opened, this doorknob shouldn't be turning, I'm supposed to be gone. It was a very, very intense experience, and I actually ended up going to therapy for it. Now it's a cool story, but a long story that I usually tell to people in person more intimately. But that is one of the times that I guess I experienced a liminal space. There are a lot of other examples where I feel like I'm in a liminal space. And it can be things like feeling in between extroverted and introverted. Sometimes I'll be very outgoing. Sometimes I just want to be a hermit crab and be at home and read my books. It can be something as silly as conversations about whether I'm a millennial or Gen Z, because I was born in that weird in-between where I experienced a lot from one generation, but also experienced a lot from the other. It can also be, there's a lot of expression, I guess, from being Hispanic. I have, my mom is from Colombia and my dad is from here in Utah. My grandpa's from Lebanon, so I'm kind of a mix of different things, and depending on who I talk to, I'm considered one thing or another, and so it kind of leaves me in an in-between, kind of a liminal space. So this whole project really criticizes black and white thinking, which we tend to do as a society and cultures, just in humanity. We tend to separate things to one or the other. Very black and white thinking. And I'm just criticizing that because I believe the world is in color. So it's ironic that I decided to put all my images in black and white, and that is intentional. That's part of the message. But that's really the background behind me choosing the concept of liminality.